Hey there, Facebook. What's up? All right, let's see. I'm going to share this over to my group. I am live. Awesome. All right, bear with me for a second. I'm going to share in a group. Share this with my epic boss babes. And I'm going to share it on my timeline. Okay. All right. What's up? Okay, Kendra here of KendraKWoods.com. And let's see, I'm still trying to get this whole camera thing situated. All right, so I was just sitting here working on my ebook for the past about 30 minutes. I've been sitting here typing, and I was putting together the introduction to my ebook, right? I've got one more chapter to write, and so today I thought, well, I'll work on my introduction. And so in my introduction, I'm just sharing a bit about my story, about my journey, about, where I was 3 years ago and kind of how I progressed to where I am today, right? As a coach, as a mentor, as a speaker, author, all that good stuff. And it's funny because I was typing it out and I was typing furiously and I'm going through everything. And I get to the part where I talk about my breakdown, if you will, right? And I got really emotional, and I'm typing it and I could feel the emotions coming up because it hit me in literally about 5 minutes ago. It hit me how far I've come, right? And I wrote a line in my ebook that says, here, I'll read it to you. I'm going to read it to you. It says, okay, here it is. It says, all right. I said, throughout my time in this position, I'm talking about a job that I held at the time, right? So I said, throughout my time in this position, I was making more than I'd ever made in my corporate career. However, I was losing the battle within myself because of my mindset, because of my low self-worth, because my confidence was, not in a good place. Like, it was literally put to the test every single day when I went into work, right? And so I was fragile mentally and emotionally, and it began to show up in ways that I couldn't control, right? And so I talk about my experience with, heavy bouts of sadness. I talk about my, going through depression, anxiety, the stress, all that good stuff. But the one thing that I mentioned in here that really caught my attention is every single day I was getting up and my hair was different. I had, a relaxer in my hair, or I might have had some, long weave in it, at that time. But anyway, I always made sure that my hair was like on point, no hair out of place. Definitely, I was not natural at that time because for various reasons. But, yeah, so I had my hair was all in place, my makeup was just right every single day. I had to wear suits every day to work. So I was putting on my suit. They were all, well-fitted suits. I would slip on, my beautiful, heels of the day. I would grab my designer bag and I would head into work every single day, right? And so people would see me, coming into work or maybe leaving work or whatever. And I would always get these amazing, fabulous compliments. Or, oh, you look so beautiful today. Or those are beautiful shoes you're wearing. Or, girl, that handbag looks so nice. Or whatever, right? So on the outside, I was totally polished, totally poised. If you were to look at me, and you're a stranger walking on the street, you would think, wow, that woman has got her stuff together, right? But in reality, I was a flippin' train wreck on the inside. That was literally... I was a train wreck waiting to happen, right? And I wanted to bring this up today because I believe, especially as women in business, as entrepreneurs, this entrepreneurial journey will literally bring up all of your limiting beliefs. It'll bring up all of your low feelings of self-worth. It'll bring up, your lack of confidence in some areas. It'll bring up all that stuff that in the normal world of things that maybe you can, slide under the rug and keep that, polished exterior and not have to deal with it, right? But when you decide to go into a realm of opening your own business, being an online entrepreneur, putting yourself out there, I love to write, so I write a blog 3 times a week. So putting out my message, doing live streams like this, anytime you're putting yourself out there, you are opening yourself up to the scrutiny of others, but then also you have those little voices that go off in your head as well that say, are you sure you should say that? Or, maybe you type something out and you go back and you erase it. So you start filtering what you're saying because essentially you're worried about what everyone else is going to think, right? And that was my biggest downfall in that position that I was in at the time, right? Is I had so many things going on underneath the surface, so many things bubbling underneath the surface that I wasn't acknowledging or that I wasn't dealing with, and that I really at the time didn't know how to deal with, right? Like I didn't know how to manage this roller coaster of emotions. I didn't know how to manage, these thoughts that I was having. I didn't know how to manage, I just didn't know how to manage the situation that I was in. And I found myself at a desperate place of trying to figure out, how do I increase my confidence? How do I, go out there and stand in my power? Because I knew that I had it, right? Like, I believe, if you're watching this now and you're resonating with this, like, that you have an amazing strength within you that is to be seen by the world, right? Like, you truly know that your light is supposed to shine, that you have a message to share, that you have an assignment to fulfill, right? Like, it within, but maybe you feel like you're not fully stepping into that full potential because you have all of these things within you that seem to be holding you back, that seem to be sabotaging you, right? And so, I was writing about this in my ebook, and I thought, I'm going to jump on a live stream real quick, and I want to talk about this because there are many of you out there right now, who have this facade, right? You have on this face of everything's perfect, everything's wonderful, all is great, and if people were to look at you, they would think, oh my gosh, she has it together. But on the inside, it's like you're beating yourself up. You are just a hot mess on the inside, right? And there's a part of you that's maybe frustrated because you're like, why can I not progress forward? Why am I not making any headway in my business? Why do I feel so confused about things? And that's like the biggest thing that I hear from women who have a business idea but they don't really know like what to do with it, right? I've been heavily promoting my Facebook group, Epic Boss Babes, and I just implemented this process where I can ask questions to the people who are entering the group, right? And so one of the questions that I ask them is, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to building your business? Hey, Tara. And so one of the things that literally almost all of them have said is, yes, I have a business idea. Yes, I know what it is that I want to do, but I have no idea how to implement it. I'm confused. I don't know where to start, or I'm waiting for the motivation, or, put whatever you want after that. And that's where a lot of us start at, right? But what I want to say is that yes, everything looks good on paper. You may look great, showing up to the world and, polished and suited and all together, but inside you have this internal conflict going on that's not allowing you to fully manifest the dream that you have, right? Thank you, Tara. Thank you. So yeah, and so like you want to manifest these things, you want to bring your business into the physical, you want to up your confidence, you want to be able to have a higher level of self-worth. You want to be able to, put yourself out there without worrying about what this person's thinking or that person's thinking. Like, you want to be strong mentally and emotionally, right? But the thing that I want to share with you today is the reason why, you're not getting to that next level, or you're not able to, take the necessary steps, and the same reason why you're feeling confused about things is because you're not dealing with what's going on inside first, right? So fast forward a little bit after I finished, writing about that little bit in my book, I go into what I did to get myself out of that place, right? Like, I had no clue what to do. But I knew that it was going to take me going within and looking at what was going on with me in order for me to move forward, right? And so that's what I want to, pass on to you today and say to you that, okay, look, if you're at that place where you feel stagnant, where you feel stuck, where you have a business idea and you're not quite sure how to bring it to fruition, or maybe you're already in business and you've made some progress and you've made some steps, but you just feel like, okay, now what do I do, right? Like, I just feel like I'm stuck. There's something inside of you right now that subconsciously, maybe you don't even realize it, but there's something that's in you that wants to keep you in the space that you're in right now. And because you can't see it, or you haven't consciously acknowledged it, you just keep kind of like spinning your wheels and spinning your wheels and spinning your wheels, right? So awesome, Tara. You said, so I'm so there right now. Ugh, I know. It can be an icky place to be in, right? Like, you just want to be out of it. And I think that, when I was going through that time of just high levels of anxiety and feeling depressed and not happy with where things were and really feeling kind of hopeless, like, I just don't know what to do next, it was not a good feeling, right? It did not feel good at all. But it's also a gift, right? It's also a gift, because when you get to that place to where you are just, you're tired of feeling the way that you've been feeling, you're tired of feeling like you're not making progress, you're tired of feeling like you're not moving forward, it's like you get fed up, right? And what happens when we get fed up? When we get fed up, we can actually start making some change. Like, we can get so over the situation that we're like, okay, something has to happen, right? It's almost like that moment of desperation where we're like, I will do anything right now to get me out of this space. And it's in that moment when we're willing to try different things, we're willing to do this and willing to do that, that we can kind of slowly bring ourselves out. But here's the thing, you guys, it all starts up here. And so for me, I had to get really clear on, okay, what was I thinking, right? What beliefs was I holding so close to me that I wasn't allowing myself to let go of, right? And so, one of those beliefs was, back in that time, one of those beliefs was, I'm not good enough, right? Now, it may not have came out of my mouth like that, or it didn't go through my head like that, but underneath was this message of I'm not enough, right? Because again, this was a position that I was in that, I was making the most money I'd ever made in my corporate career, right? And so for me, it was a whole self-worth thing, right? Like, oh my gosh, like you're going to pay me this much. Like, no one's ever paid me this much before. And, am I really worth that? And then tying, expectations to it. Well, if you're going to pay me this amount of money, then I have to show up in this particular way, right? And then putting that pressure on myself to show up in a certain way, right? And so we do the same thing in business. And let me just say this, so this just came to mind. This is exactly what happens when you see entrepreneurs who maybe they launch their course, right? And it's wildly successful, right? They launch a program, it is successful. They bring in $5,000, $10,000, whatever. And then you would think that you would be so excited and so motivated to keep going and to keep pushing that you're going to make sure that you keep the momentum going. But what happens? What happens is you fall back because you're like, oh my God, like I really did it. You're excited about it. But then those voices in your head start to come up and say, are you sure you should have gotten that much money, or can you handle that much money? Now you have to be really responsible if you have that much money. Now you have to show up and perform because they're giving you this amount of money, right? Whether it be a job giving you this money, or whether it be your clients giving you this money, It's the same thing, right? And if we do not deal with that mindset, if we do not deal with the core, our core of what our beliefs are, what we're believing about ourselves and why we're believing that about ourselves, and then replacing it with habits and beliefs that are going to serve us, if we don't do that, we will continually sabotage ourselves over and over and over again, right? We'll only go to a certain level, and then boom, we'll back down, right? And Tony Robbins, I was listening to one of his audios yesterday, and he was talking about our internal thermostat, and I loved the analogy that he used. He used the analogy of a thermostat, and he was like, what happens? Let's say your internal thermostat is set on 68, right? So let's use salary, for example. Let's say your internal thermostat for how much money you're willing to receive is $70,000, right? Let's just say that's it for you, $70,000 a year, right? So what happens when you fall below that, right? Let's say let's say you are in a job and you're only making 60,000, or you're making 55,000, but your thermostat's at 70. What do? You will do everything that you need to do to get yourself up to that 70,000, right? Like, you're going to be like, oh no, this is not working. I'm worth more than that, because your thermostat's at 70,000, right? I'm worth more than that. I need to do whatever it is I need to do to get there, right? So you put in the work, maybe you get the certifications, maybe you sell more than you've ever sold before, maybe you're putting yourself out there more, making yourself known, right? And so then you get yourself to that 70,000, right? And you're like, yes, I made it. Now, the same thing happens if you go over that 70, well, something different happens, but when you go over that 70,000, what happens? Right? Let's say again, you have a really successful course launch, and you, for the year, let's say for that launch, we're just going to go out there and say it. Let's just say for that launch, you bring in $80,000, right? Right? Work with me here. Let me know if y'all are with me, by the way. Send me some love hearts, amens, or something. So let's say you bring in $80,000. Your internal thermostat is set to 70,000. So what are you going to do? You are going to sabotage your way all the way back down to that 70,000, because why? You're comfortable there. That is your comfort space, right? And to get out of that space and to raise that thermostat, thank you for the love hearts, and to raise that thermostat, you've got to do the internal work to increase your self-worth, right? And so that can mean many different things, right? That can be many different things that you need to do. It can mean that, like I mentioned earlier, that you need to lay out, what beliefs am I holding right now that are not serving me in a positive way? Write them out, okay? You can write out, money beliefs. What do I believe about money? One of my beliefs are, or used to be, that making money was hard, that you had to work your tail off in order to make money. Get out of your kitchen. You are too funny. Self-sabotage, exactly. So one of my beliefs was that making a lot of money meant that I had to work really, really hard, right? And so when I was in that position, I was making really good money, but because my belief was that I had to work my tail off to make really good money, that meant that I was like working 60 plus hours a week, that I was coming home at the end of the day and I was doing work sitting here on my couch, that I was like getting up earlier than I needed to go into meetings that I could have held, at another time of the day. It meant that I was trying to keep up with everybody else in the office, right? Because I felt like I believed that I had to make it hard. And the one thing that I have learned through working with, several coaches who are well, ahead where I'm at, where they are, building 6 and 7 figure empires, is that literally, in watching them do what they do, it is not difficult. We make it difficult by the beliefs that we hold. right? So for me, if I'm looking at, like one of my mentors that I work with now, she's a 7-figure earner, right? So if I look at her and I'm holding the belief that, making money is hard, then I'm going to make everything hard. Then I'm going to make everything hard. I'm going to make selling my programs hard. I'm going to make getting my name out there hard. I'm going to make doing a live stream hard. I'm going to make, writing my book hard. I'm going to make everything hard. And so my way of getting through that now is by me implementing a new belief in myself that making money is easy. Making money is fun. Business is easy, right? Like, today, I set that intention for myself. I said, today is going to be about ease and flow. I'm going to let it flow. I'm going to choose to allow God to lead me. I'm going to choose to allow the Spirit to lead me. And I'm going to make it easy. I'm not going to sit here and make this hard on myself. I want this to be fun, right? We don't get into business because we want to, because we don't want to be happy, or because because we want to be stressed. We don't get into business for ourselves for that. We get into business for ourselves because we want to have freedom. We want to have options. We want to have choices. We want to have fun, right? We want to do business how we want to do business. And so if that is the reason why we get into business, then why do we then choose to make it hard on ourselves and stress ourselves out and worry about what everyone else is thinking, right? And the reason that is, again, goes back to your thoughts, right? And so at the end of the day, I just had to hop on. I wanted to share this with you. I still have some more work to go back and finish the introduction into my ebook. But as I was writing it, I was like, oh my gosh. I just looked back and I thought, wow, I've come so far. And what I want to say to you is, regardless of where you're at right now, you have come so far because you're here. If you're watching this, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, you are watching and you're here because you want better, right? Because you want to live a life, have a business, whatever it may be for you, that fulfills you, right? So the fact that you're aware that there are some things that need to take place, that there are some things that need to change, the fact that you're aware of that is like numero uno. That is like step number one. Because those that aren't aware, have no clue, what's going on, are the ones that when you try to say to them, hey, when you bring something to their attention or when you confront them about something, those are the ones that, get mad at you and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, and just refuse the help, right? But the fact that you're aware means that's good news. That means that now you can make a different choice, right? Earlier this morning I was in my church group. I do a small group, and of course it's around mindset. And so today we were talking, and some of the women were just talking about how essentially saying how they wanted other people to appreciate them and to do things for them and to, show them love, so to speak, right? Which is a basic human need. I mean, we all want to be seen and heard and loved, right? Totally get it. But the one thing I said to them is, listen, you're giving your power away to other people. You're taking your power of needing to feel loved and supported and appreciated, and you're putting it in the hands of another human being, and you're saying, hey, I need you to take care of this. I need you to make me feel better. I need you to make me happy. I need you to appreciate me, right? And that is a great example of something that we do, not just in that scenario, but even in business, right? When we sit and worry about what everyone else is thinking, what everyone else is doing, or whatever, we're putting that power on them to make us feel a certain way. And so what I said to them was, instead of doing that, you need to do that for yourself, right? If you want love, if you want acceptance, if you want, appreciation, whatever that is, give it to yourself. If you want to be celebrated, celebrate yourself. Allow God to celebrate you, right? And yeah, I get that we want other people to do it for us, but we can't hold other people accountable for our growth, for our happiness, for whatever, right? So it all starts with us. It all starts with us. And getting our inner game in order is like top priority in order for us to be able to go into the next seasons, the next stages of our life with a strong, mental and emotional capacity to receive what it is that's going to come our way, right? Okay. Any questions, any comments, anything else that is resonating with you that I can bring up with you and talk about here on this live stream, put them in the comments. And while you're doing that, I will let you know that if you are not in my group, Epic Boss Babes, you got to be there. I'm going to put the link in the comment, and you can send your request to join. But this group is one that I created a couple months ago. It is so close to my heart because I literally created it, just from a place of inspired action, right? Of inspired action, right? And it's been so great. We're a small group right now, but we are growing. But if you want to be in a space, where you want more, right? When you want more out of your life, when you want more out of your business, all that good stuff, you want to be there. So Tara says, I'm going to get my inner self in order. Yes, I'm so happy I tuned in today. I needed this. Love you, sis. You are so welcome. Love you too. And that is the name of the game, getting the inner self in order. That's like your number one priority, right? So I'll put the link to my group here in the comments. And if you want to join, please join. I do live streams in that group. I definitely fill that group with amazing content. I've done a few free trainings in the group as well. And it's really a safe place in a community of women who are like-minded, who are spirit, heart, and soul-led entrepreneurs or women who aspire to be entrepreneurs, who are looking to be in a space to learn how to grow their inner self so that their outer world will change as a response to that, okay? So I'm going to get off here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the comments. If you're watching the replay, still put in questions, still put in your comments. Share this if it resonated with you, and I will talk with you guys later. Tara, have a fabulous day, girl. And remember, never settle, you guys. Your best business and your best life is just on the other side of yes. All right, talk soon. Bye.